local population, local knowledge plays a major role. Understanding their local environment, and through that they develop their own income. So they are, in a way, they are entrepreneurs who can generate their fund without relying on or without being abused from big companies or from business interventions. Using the local knowledge and giving the community to identify their problems and prioritize their needs. So they decide by themselves what kind of projects or what kind of interventions that they could develop. The focus on women and the youth leads to strengthening human well-being and capability and their capabilities, securing the global environment due to the fact this intervention allows to fight deforestation through increasing the land cultivation, and by that better environment is taking place, reducing the carbon or the CO2 in the environment, so decarbonizing the local environments. And there is a need to support these interventions in one way or another through supporting communities that one of their products is how to sell the product. One of the challenges where to sell it and how to sell it, and then one of the way to support it is to open the market and to allow them to export their products with no mediation, because the mediators in the middle might abuse the interventions. The last statement is that women and youth, through developing businesses models, through generating revenues, can make a big change in the communities, and they can rely on themselves. This is a summary of what has been discussed. I don't know if Raja want to say something, or Rasha even.
Perhaps just to add that one of the intervention that we felt helped a lot to overcome the weak participation of the population is using the One Health approach, meaning that not only we were dealing with the biodiversity preservation, but also dealing with the healthcare provision and also dog rabies immunization, which, just increased the willingness of the population to contribute and to embark in the initiative. In the same way that, as you mentioned, Jawed, the transgenerational knowledge transfer to the youth, from the mothers to the youth, ensuring that we are keeping this knowledge very precious and transferring it to new generation to make the best of it through the entrepreneurial skills development. That will be all. Just one thing, and it was important to share that beside the local population involvement, we played an important role between the local population and the local authorities and initiative that have founding capacities, because to do that we didn't have ourselves. We raised fund and we played this linkage role between the population and some local initiative to support financially scaling up of the initiative and putting it to this scale. That's it from my side. Thank you, Jawed.
Thank you. Rasha, do you want to add something, or you're okay?
Thank you so much. It was perfect. Thank you, Jawad.
All right, thank you.
Everyone. So for the sake of time, and because my colleagues already also touched on some points that we discussed, I'll be very brief, and I'll give also the space for my colleagues that were with us in the room to add if they had anything to add. So from our working group that is securing the global environmental commons, as if we need to define the environmental commons, they are all the resources that we share as a society and community. This is, and where to achieve this goal of securing our commons, we must work toward the inclusivity and multi-sectoral approach. And by doing so, we can be promoting the small to medium enterprises, the SMEs, the youth-led startups, the women-led enterprises, by doing or by holding knowledge hubs and securing funds for innovation, ensuring that they are given the consideration for procurement policies, because once we are focusing on these small enterprises, we are giving the space for the people that are having direct involvement with the environment, and not just only the big businesses, but they are really firsthand focusing on what is happening around them, and local action as well. And also to promote the community-based action, and also as a form of encouraging volunteerism as a tool that allows a drive for a change, which creates a valuable movement. And there's an example that was provided, the Communication of Engagement book, that tells a story about how we can be engaged in local actions. And of course, to focus on the context-specific problems to find localized solutions. So localized solutions has been also integrated in all the different breakout rooms, which is very important to focus on. And building the capacity building and awareness for people to adjust to sustainable and environmentally just practices. And by that, we mean like the example of using the metro stations here in Qatar, where we are introducing it as a new norm in the Western region by allowing people to change the way that they are practicing, rather than using the transportation that by car, but transferring to public transportation for decreasing the climate change, and for integrating this as a an integrative approach for lowering the climate emissions, and also to change the behavior of the food waste landfills. This also falls under the raising awareness of people how to engage with their environment, and of course on focusing on the transboundary agreements by developing a well-defined property right laws. And this was given as an example, the implementation of the fishing laws between Qatar and Bahrain that limited the illegal fishing happening, and this is where we call the transboundary agreements between the countries, and also adapt solutions that were implemented in different areas, such as focusing also on building green buildings, where we can be also, there are two things that are also part of the environmental commons, the building and the land or the soil, where we are sometimes building on arable soils. However, we are missing the opportunity of actually having implemented agricultural production on these lands, so we can be cultivating and creating a climate change impact. So we need to be thinking of how to adopt solutions where we can integrate both sustainable infrastructure, sustainable building, as well as contributing to the agricultural sector at the same time. So it's here also I'll mention that my colleagues in the room, we will be also submitting these specific examples to the form. And please, if anyone would like to add anything from my group, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. It was obviously very rich discussions in all of the rooms. I know it was in our room on energy, and to hear the reporting back, it's clear that it was in all of the rooms. So thank you all so much. Thank you all in the audience for your active participation today. I was just double checking tomorrow. Our time begins at 9 o'clock. Yes, 9 o'clock. We'll be back in this room. For those of you staying in the hotel, the bus will be picking us up at 8:30. So just the same place that you met it today. And I won't try to summarize the day's discussions, but we will continue them tomorrow at 9. And I look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.